Hi everybody, I'm Cena Forever. Happy Halloween, and welcome to something new I'm trying called My Favorite Rivalries. And what I'm going to start with is one from my childhood, Trish Stratus and Lita. When they debuted, I think when Trish debuted, I was, that was in March of 2000 if I'm not mistaken. So I was still 11, about to turn 12 in October, I was still 11. And Lita debuted about 6 months after that, so I think it would have been 12 at the time. But I idolized these women as I was growing up. Trish, at first, if I'm being honest, not so much. Because at first, all Trish was the manager to Tess and Albert. And at first, I didn't see anything in her. I didn't think she was going to go anywhere, to be honest. Because all she was the manager. And then when she started wrestling, at first I thought she really didn't have anything because she really didn't do that good of a job when she first started. But boy, did she ever prove me wrong and went down as one of the most iconic women's champions in history. But I think the first time she fought, if I'm not mistaken, I could be because it's been a long time. So I could be mistaken, but I think her first match was a tag team match. Her and Val Venus against Lita and Matt Hardy. But like I said, I don't know. I'm only about 30% on that, so if you guys can let me know in the comments. I don't really remember that match, to be honest with you, because I think it was at a pay-per-view, and at that time I was only 11, and there were still like $50. I think the first time I saw Trish and Lita fight was on Raw. I think it was a bra and panties match, which I hated those matches when I was a kid. I was like, what the fuck do these matches, other than giving dudes hard-ons, because they're big pervs, what the fuck do these matches have to do with athletic ability of women? They're just out there so guys can ogle them and have like sexual fantasies about them. It had nothing to do with competing as a athlete. It was all just for guys. I hated when they would have to put the women's championship on the line in a bra and panties match. It's like, yeah, you can undress another woman. Ooh, here's the title. Yeah, I just thought that was so stupid. And anyway, like I said, I think that's the first time I remember them fighting. I think Trish was the first one to put a woman through a table, and that woman was Lita. And I liked that they fought as a tag team. I liked when they would team together. They fought as a tag team at I think it was called either Resurrection or Insurrection, something with the Invasion pay-per-view. I think they win. It was a tag team match. Lita and Trish against Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Come to think of it, I think that was a bra and panties match too, which I didn't like, but I think they ended up winning that match, so that was good. And I just love how all throughout the careers they went from friends, enemies. I think people call it frenemies now, but I still call it friends and enemies because frenemies to me is a stupid term. Um, they could just turn it on whenever they wanted to. Like they were friends behind the scenes, but if you didn't know that, you would have thought they hated each other on camera because at times they could be the best of friends, but when they hated each other on camera, they hated each other. I remember, I think it was right before WrestleMania 18, Lita goes into Trish's locker room and says, whether I have to go through Jazz or whether I have to go through you, I'm walking out of WrestleMania the next WWE Women's Champion. And Trish goes, when's the last time you were champion? And Lita's like, you trying to say you're better than me? And Trish goes, I'm not trying to, I just did. And then Lita slaps Trish and Trish slaps Lita. And they just start brawling, from the locker room out into the hall. And it wasn't one of those girly slaps either. It was a hard slap, like, fuck you, bitch. And it was just so cool. But, one of my favorite storylines they were in together, they were friends at the time of the storyline, was the Battle of the Sexes. Her and Trish versus Chris Jericho and Christian, where Christian and Chris Jericho had that bet, the Canadian dollar, of who can fuck who first. If uh, Chris could fuck Trish first, or if Christian could fuck Lita first. And then they found out about it. And then they had that match. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had two matches. They had one on the pay-per-view, which I forget which pay-per-view it was, but they called the match Battle of the Sexes. And then that night on Raw, they had like another rematch of that. So I don't remember who won the first time. I think Trish and Lita won the first time, but I think the second time Chris and Christian won. And I just really like that storyline because it got to show them with the guys, which they don't do anymore hardly. I mean, sometimes they might. Sometimes Stephanie McMahon might get speared by Roman, but they really don't let the women be with the guys in a competitive way anymore. It's like, well, you want to be equals? Take it like a woman and take a hit. What's wrong with that? It's not like it's a man beating the shit out of a woman. It's part of the job. So if they want to be equals, even today, I say, let them take a hit from the guy. It ain't gonna hurt them. Trish and Lita used to take it like women, and these women should be able to too, especially since they want to be so equal. I think they should be able to do that. But anyway, back to Trish and Lita. One of my favorite matches that Trish and Lita ever had, and they did have a lot of matches, was when they main evented Raw. And back then, that was unheard of. I think it was December 6th of 2004 when they main evented Raw. And you could say Lita main evented Raw with Stephanie a few years before that. And technically, yeah, she did, but The Rock was out there, and Triple H was out there, and Kurt Angle was out there, and the Hardy Boys were out there. So, Stephanie and Lita weren't exactly holding their own when they main evented Raw. There was all these other men out there that people were probably tuning in for too. And when Trish and Lita main evented Raw, there wasn't anybody else out there with them. It was just Trish and Lita main eventing Raw. Just them, that's all. And they didn't need any stupid reality show to do it. They just got to do it because they were good. There was no ratings boost for some stupid reality show. They were just good, and they got to do it. I'll never forget during that match, though, when Lita did a suicide dive out onto Trish, and it was the side the barricade was on, and when she jumped through the ropes, there wasn't enough room, and her feet hit the back of her neck. And that just looked like it hurt to holy hell. I can't believe she still got up from that. I thought she broke her neck when I first saw that. I really did. But that match was so great. And Lita ended up winning that match, but they both did so great in that match. Like, they just go together when it comes to fighting in a match. Like, you could tell they don't even have to talk to each other. They just know what the other's thinking, and they go off of it. They just have so much in-ring chemistry, and it's great. But that was one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites, it didn't last very long, but was the one where Lita allegedly broke Trish's nose at Survivor Series. I don't know what they did to have her nose bleed like that, or she really did break her nose, but there was blood. Or wait, I think that was before the match on Raw. But there was blood all over Trish's nose for a while that she wore that protective mask. So I don't know if it was really broken, but I just remember that looked disgusting. And I think it was only fitting that when Trish retired, her last match was against Lita. And as always, they were flawless in this match. I remember it was great. I wish I could have seen it, at least on pay-per-view, but at the time, I couldn't afford it, but I just thought it was great because, like I said, they just play off each other. I'm glad Trish won. I just wish they would have given Lita the same respect when she retired, because when Lita retired, they just kept up the slut thing and had Crime Time selling her clothes. It's like, dude, this is her last match. She's not coming back tomorrow. This is her last match, which it was until she came back for a few matches, but at that time, it was her last match, and this is how you're going to send her off and thank her for her 6 years of hard work. Oh, you're a slutting character, so we're going to treat you like a slut. Fuck you. I hated that. I really did. That's why I mentioned in another video, when originally she was supposed to fight Mickie James at Evolution, I liked this because, it was kind of rectifying what they did when she retired. But of course, they made it a tag team match with her and Trish against Alicia Fox. And I can't remember who else. I said it in the other video. I can't remember who else now, though. Alicia Fox and somebody. Oh, Mickie James. Mickey James. That's it. Well, duh. Of course it was Mickey James, because that's who Lita was supposed to fight. Jesus, I'm a dumbass. But anyway, I think they came back to beat the shit out of Jillian Hall in a Christmas episode. That was pretty funny. And they got to shut Jillian Hall up because she always wanted to sing, and she can't sing for shit. And like I said in another video also, I would love for Trish and Lita to come back and become the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And like I said in the other video, I know that they wouldn't hold the title for long, maybe a month, to get another team over. You know, I understand that their days of running long are over, so I wouldn't be expecting that, but I just think it'd be so cool for them to become the Women's Tag Team Champions. I always wanted them, and yes, I wanted this match, as long as Trish and Lita won, of course. I always wanted them to come back and fight the Bellas, just so they could show the Bellas, you can't hang with us, you're nothing compared to us. We're on a whole nother level compared to you guys. That's a match that I always wanted. Because Nikki's injured, I'll never get it now, but that's a match I always wanted. Like I said, as long as Trish and Lita had won. If the Bellas had won, I would have been really, really pissed off. But anyway, that ought to do it for my first episode of this. If you guys want more episodes, let me know which rivalries you want me to react to in the comments. Keep in mind, I was born in 1988, so I might not remember some of the rivalries that you remember. But if you can think of any that you think I will remember, let me know in the comments. If you want me to do something like this again, I will. If not, this will probably be the only one I'm doing, because I'm not going to take my time doing this if people don't like them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.